A small quake-hit settlement north of Kaikoura is accusing the government of discrimination. A dangerous cliff in Rakautara has forced 5 homeowners out of their homes or holiday homes after it rained boulders down on them during the 2016 Kaikoura earthquake. Now, the residents want to be paid out and leave, but the local council doesn't have the money to do it, even with a government contribution of $1.5 million. They now say the government needs to stop treating them like second-class citizens and stump up more cash like it did after the Christchurch earthquake. Here's Logan Church.
At their Christchurch home, Joe and Les Davidson and their Labrador Richie McPaw are waging war against what they describe as discrimination.
I think there's a discrimination against a small community, and not only that, it's just not justice. We just want justice. We just want to be treated the same as the other people were. You know, some equality in there.
The couple were in a meeting between the Kaikoura District Council and 5 Rakautara homeowners last week. The house once belonged to Joe's father, and they used to holiday there several times a year. The homes have Section 124 notices on them due to the risk of boulders coming down from a neighbouring cliff on their properties, which is exactly what happened during the Kaikoura earthquake.
To give you an idea of what the hill was like behind my father's betch, my son had written a poem at school when he was about 9. So he described it as, at the back of the betch is a steep hill covered with trees. If the weather is good, we go for a climb up it. The slope is steep, so you have to watch where you put your feet. Isolated patches of native stinging nettle hide among the ferns, waiting to attack an unsuspecting climber, a cobra ready to strike. At the back of the hill is a huge drop. I always wondered how smashed up I would get if I fell to the bottom.
The government is giving $1.5 million to the Kaikoura District Council to solve land hazard issues. 15 properties in total across the district are affected. All residents Checkpoint has spoken to want to be paid out, like the government did for Christchurch Red Zone landowners. Thousands of Christchurch homes were bought by the government at a cost of about $1.5 billion, under the now defunct Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Act. But back in Kaikoura, $1.5 million is clearly not enough to pay out 15 properties. Joe and Les thinks the government needs to stump up more cash.
You know, we realise that the Kaikoura Council is a small council, that it doesn't have the resources, the financial resources to pay the landowners out, but we feel that central government has an obligation to treat us with the same dignity and respect that they treated people in Christchurch who were in a very similar situation to us.
The Kaikoura District Council itself is in no place to help financially. It's a council that struggled to find funding for a single new public toilet earlier this year. It's a council that simply has no money. And that's where Joe and Les thinks the government needs to step up.
They're hiding behind the fact that they're saying their legislature is different. There's a different act of parliament or something that doesn't allow them to treat you the same. But I don't go that. I think you just got to treat people as New Zealanders. We're New Zealanders. We all pay taxes. We pay our insurance and our GST levies. We're all Kiwis. We should all be treated the same way by central government.
During last week's meeting, the council's chief executive, Angela Oosthuizen, promised to relay those sentiments to the government.
Since that meeting last week, we've been having conversations with senior staff at the Department of Internal Affairs to give them an overview of what information the residents shared with us. We've also had our meeting with the Kaikoura Recovery Steering Group, and once again we shared all the information that was spoken about last week, and we've definitely raised all the points that were made by the Rakautara residents.
I also asked Ms Oosthuizen what she made of the accusation the government was being discriminatory.
It would be premature of me to make any comment.
Previous communication between Checkpoint and the government on this issue has involved several government ministers. EQC Minister Megan Woods, Civil Defence Minister Chris Farfoy, and Local Government Minister Nanaia Mahuta. Joe and Les have also attempted to try and talk to the government directly.
I've had sent numerous emails to Megan Woods. She probably knows me quite well by now. Megan did give me the honour of phoning me and having a chat to me about the situation. She said that it wasn't actually an EQC matter because the house and land weren't actually damaged to non-repair by an earthquake, but it's the imminent rockfall. So she suggested that it was Chris Farfoy's jurisdiction. So I copied him in on all the emails I sent to Megan and heard nothing back from him at all.
We asked all of the before-mentioned ministers' offices yesterday morning for interviews. The response so far? Absolutely nothing. Angela Oosthuizen says she hopes the council will make a decision as to what to do soon. Joe and Les just want to be rid of the house and the problem by the end of the year. Mō te hōtaka o te ahi nei, ko Logan Church tēnei.